Blood platelets were transporting medical supplies from one place to another when their small squad leader blew a sharp whistle. This was the signal for them to stop because ahead was a large set of stairs. For the small-legged platelets, descending the stairs was a huge challenge. Slowly and carefully, after navigating their way down, the platelets finally reached the bottom and let out a sigh of relief. But just then, a massive 12-magnitude earthquake struck among the red blood cells. The quake was so intense that it caused a big explosion, creating a deep abyss pit on the surface of the skin. Along with this, a small red blood cell named Zhao Hong and many other blood cells began to fall into the abyss with tremendous force. Zhao Hong thought her life was about to end, but then, like a hero, a white blood cell came to her rescue. All of this was happening because the blood vessels in the skin had been damaged, and red blood cells were falling directly out, meaning it was the effect of a small injury. Zhao Hong was so shocked by what she saw that she immediately started screaming to call for reinforcements. But then, the white blood cell went into full alert mode, as if some other great danger was approaching, and then entered Staphylococcus aureus, a dangerous bacteria that normally resides on the skin and in pores. When it enters the body through an open wound, it can cause severe infections like skin infections or pneumonia. As soon as the leader of Staphylococcus gave a signal, all the bacterial soldiers rushed to attack the white blood cells and red blood cells. The white blood cell reacted immediately and told Zhao Hong to run away, as she didn't have the ability to fight. On the other hand, the blood vessels began to contract to prevent excessive blood loss. Because of this, the red blood cells got trapped inside the blood vessels. The bacteria's attack grew more aggressive, and the red blood cells became completely powerless. At that moment, more white blood cells arrived as reinforcements. These white blood cells went into full savage mode and began searching everywhere to detect the bacteria. On one side, the white blood cell leader was fighting two bacteria alone, but he felt something strange. The bacteria were moving as if they were following a strategy, as if they were trying to gather the white blood cells in one place. And that's exactly what was happening. The bacteria attracted the white blood cells near the wound area, and then, due to a powerful suction force, all the white blood cells got trapped. The bacteria took full advantage of this moment and attacked from the back. The white blood cells began to struggle, and some were literally fighting for their lives. This was actually the strategy of the bacteria leader, Staphylococcus aureus. These bacteria had come with a pre-planned strategy because they knew that the body's first line of defense was the white blood cells. Giant macrophages and monocytes arrive later. That's why the bacteria targeted the white blood cells first. The leader of Staphylococcus was fighting three white blood cells at the same time and defeating them back to back. She mocked the white blood cells, saying, "You guys help others every day, but when you're in crisis, no one comes to help you." But the white blood cells put all their strength into ensuring that the platelets could complete their task. The blood platelets activated clotting factors and created a fiber net to cover the wound. This is the same process that forms a scab, dried wound. The moment this clot formed, the bacteria's entry point was sealed. Seeing this, the leader of Staphylococcus looked sad, but she continued to fight the white blood cells until the last moment. The white blood cell leader launched a powerful counterattack and completely defeated the bacteria leader. Night had fallen, and a small initial T cell was patrolling inside the body. This T cell was quite cowardly and would panic at the slightest sound. But then, he saw a scene straight out of a horror movie. A zombie cell appeared in front of him. Seeing this, the initial T cell panicked and immediately started running. But it wasn't just one. An entire group of zombie cells began chasing him. Just when it seemed like the T cell's life was about to end, the white blood cell leader, aka White Bro, arrived and began efficiently eliminating the zombies. These zombie cells were once normal cells but had mutated due to a virus. This virus was actually an influenza virus. This virus comes in different types, but it mostly causes reactions like 38-degree fever, headaches, and joint pain. Now, the white blood cell had to ensure that these zombie cells didn't reproduce before killing them. The white blood cell asked the initial T cell for help, but this T cell turned out to be completely useless. He just sat there holding his weapon and did nothing. The white blood cell thought that this T cell would literally be the end of him, but then another big savior arrived, Macrophage Sister, who descended onto the battlefield wielding a 25-meter-long sword. Macrophage literally massacred the zombies with elegance. She even pulled out the virus's heart with her own hands and discovered that it was a B-type influenza virus. Macrophage Sister sent the antigen information to the helper T cells so that a proper battle strategy could be formed. Once the killer T cells received the strategy, they entered the battlefield and easily destroyed the virus cells. Seeing the initial T cell's pathetic performance, the experienced T cells began to scold him heavily. As the virus's zombies were becoming more aggressive, another T cell made an entry, the memory T cell. In his hands was a diary that contained proof of his past battles with the virus. The memory T cell's special power is that if it has fought a virus before, it remembers the best method to eliminate it and can easily destroy the same virus again. The battle was getting more intense, but one thing was clear. Macrophage Sister was the queen of the battlefield, but the initial T cell was still weak, and running away from his weaknesses. While running, he reached a dendritic cell, who was wearing a quirky and unique small hat. Seeing the T-cell's condition, he thought that perhaps the T-cells had gotten into another big problem. In front of the dendritic cell, the initial T-cell's confidence completely shattered, and he began to cry loudly. He started to feel that he was a useless soldier who could never become a proper immune cell. Thinking this, his self-esteem dropped even further. Seeing this, the dendritic cell decided to motivate the initial T-cell and show him how every strong immune cell was once a weak warrior. The dendritic cell used his special ability to show the initial T-cell a memory projection, which depicted how even killer T-cells were once weak and vulnerable. These immune cells had also been defeated by viruses many times, but over time they evolved and developed their strength. Seeing this, the initial T-cell began to understand that his struggle was normal, and it was just a stage he had to go through to become powerful. As he began to grow mentally stronger, a bright light started to emanate from his body, a sign of his full activation. On the other hand, a fierce war was raging between the white blood cells and the viruses on the battlefield. The white blood cells were putting their lives on the line to kill the influenza virus, but the virus was no less. It was infecting some red blood cells and rapidly multiplying its numbers. Its multiplication rate was so high that in just 8 hours, it could go from 100 to 100,000. The battle was getting more intense when a powerful attack sent a virus spinning in the air and crashing to the ground. When everyone looked, it was none other than the initial T-cell, but now he had transformed into an effector T-cell, a warrior who could now directly fight against the virus. Along with him, more new effector T-cells were created, helping to eliminate the virus. Then, B-cells also arrived on the battlefield. The B-cells' special ability is to create antibodies that help destroy the virus. Now, the battle had become one-sided, and the immune cells had put the virus into total annihilation mode. During this battle, the body was activating even more protective mechanisms. To boost the immune response, the body's temperature began to rise, which slows down virus replication. This is why when we have a fever, we feel cold, as the body constricts outer blood vessels to save heat. At the same time, sneezing and mucus production also increased to expel viruses from the body. The body's immune system was working at full force, and within a week, the influenza virus was completely eliminated. The initial T-cell, who had once seemed the weakest and most scared, had now become a strong warrior. But just as all the immune cells were about to relax, another danger appeared. Just when everyone thought the battle was over, a zombie cell began to rise from a ruined area. The effector T-cell, now confident, attacked the zombie virus without thinking. But the white blood cell leader immediately noticed that this virus was different. It was actually a mutated version of the type 1 influenza virus. This mutated virus's ability was much more powerful than the normal virus. In just a second, it released thousands of new virus cells from its body, which immediately began infecting red blood cells and surrounding cells. Seeing this, all the cells were shocked because the virus was rapidly getting out of the body's control. 2 days later, as the white blood cell White Bro was relaxing with his friend Xiao Hong, his special bacteria detection system activated. This meant that a new bacteria had entered the body. With White Bro was another female white blood cell who wasn't as strong but was still protecting the red blood cells. A new bacteria, Vibrio vulnificus, which is a seawater bacteria, had attacked. This bacteria enters the body through contaminated seafood and causes food poisoning. As White Bro and his team were fighting the bacteria, another problem arose. The mast cells began releasing histamine, which causes allergic reactions and inflammation. This signaled that there was another foreign invader in the body. Another white blood cell, Basophil, who was speaking in a dramatic anime villain-like manner, also entered. He informed them that the bacteria had reached a level that even stomach acid couldn't eliminate. Then, another horror moment arrived. A big explosion occurred, and the stomach wall was damaged. Everyone thought the bacteria issue was about to be resolved, but then, from behind the damaged stomach wall, a shadow with glowing red eyes appeared. This wasn't a bacteria, it was a parasite named Anisakis, which enters the body through contaminated raw seafood. This parasite damages the stomach walls and causes severe vomiting, nausea, and abdominal pain. White blood cell. White Bro tried to attack, but the parasite sent him flying with just one roar. This parasite was so large and powerful compared to the immune cells that the normal white blood cells seemed completely powerless in front of it. But then, another unexpected moment arrived. The weak white blood cell eosinophil said that this parasite was his to handle. Everyone was shocked that a normally weak cell could defeat the parasite. White blood cell Bro was also confused about whether eosinophil could win this fight or not. As the Anisakis parasite attacked the stomach wall, White blood cell. White Bro first thought of handling the fight himself, but then he realized that this battle was eosinophil's domain. Eosinophil, whom everyone also called Little Pink, had always seemed weak, but in reality, its main function is to eliminate parasites, not to fight bacteria or viruses. As soon as the parasite tried to break through the stomach lining, eosinophil launched its dual blade attack. It attacked the parasite's forehead directly, and after a bit of struggle, the parasite fell into the stomach acid, where it dissolved. Seeing this, all the cells recognized eosinophil eosinophil strength, and he finally became the hero of the team. Meanwhile, Macrophage Sister was relaxing near the eye's mucous membrane when suddenly, fireball-like objects began falling from the sky. These were actually pollen grains, which fell directly into the tear ducts. When their hard outer shells were removed, a cute-looking pollen structure was revealed inside, which was going to trigger allergic reactions. The pollen grains slowly spread into the nasal passage and respiratory tract, and the immune cells received a signal of an antigen invasion. Xiao Hong, who was transporting nutrients near the eyelashes, also heard the antigen alert. But when she saw how large the pollen seeds were, she froze in fear. As soon as white blood cell White Bro arrived on the scene, he instantly killed the pollen. But then, the memory cell went into panic mode. He said that this situation was the beginning of a huge disaster. His ancestors' records had mentioned that when pollen fireballs fall from the sky, it leads to great destruction on Earth. The mast cell, which releases histamine, reacted and the allergy response went into overdrive. First, it released a normal level of histamine, but it felt that wasn't enough, so it released a big blast. The result was, the body's emergency immune response was activated, causing redness, swelling, pain, and respiratory issues. Sneezing and nasal congestion became extreme, with cells describing it as a rocket launch and earthquake. Water began flowing from the eyes as if a tsunami had occurred. The entire immune system was caught in an allergic storm. All the cells went into panic mode and blamed the mast cell and B cell for overreacting and causing harm to the body. But both began blaming each other. White Bro was confused, thinking that all the cells were doing their job correctly, so why did this disaster happen? Then, Xiao Hong arrived with an unknown delivery item that had to be delivered to the immune system's headquarters. But as soon as the package was opened, a red glowing robotic figure emerged, armed with a rapid-fire weapon, and began attacking all the immune cells indiscriminately. As soon as the memory cell saw the red glowing robot, his PTSD was triggered. This robotic entity was actually glucocorticoid, steroid, which is given to suppress allergic reactions. Its job is to destroy overactive immune cells so that the allergy response can be controlled. The robot directly targeted B cells and mast cells because they were responsible for the allergy response. Its Gatling gun was firing at all the cells, and many immune system cells were instantly destroyed. It was like an apocalypse scene where the allergy response stopped, but the immune cells also suffered severe damage. Finally, the steroid's effect began to wear off, and the allergy-causing pollen was also eliminated. But the immune system's headquarters looked like a battlefield, with destruction everywhere. Xiao Hong accidentally wandered into the bone marrow, the red blood cell factory. This is the place where all red blood cells are trained. At that moment, a graduation ceremony was taking place, where new red blood cells were being sent into the body after clearing their final stage. During the graduation, Macrophage Sister removed the nucleus of each new red blood cell, which is a sign of RBC maturity. Seeing this, Xiao Hong became nostalgic and began to remember her past. Earlier, the hematopoietic stem cell, which creates new blood cells, had predicted, upon seeing her red hair, that she would become a powerful RBC. But during training, she realized that being an RBC wasn't so easy. First, she had to memorize the blood circulation path so that she could effectively transport oxygen. But when she started delivering oxygen, she kept hitting dead ends. It was a CPU overload moment, and she fainted in frustration. The second training was about escaping bacteria and the immune system. Here, the white blood cell was given the role of the bacteria, and the new RBCs had to escape. Xiao Hong panicked and ran without looking, getting completely lost. Then, she was attacked by real bacteria, but she thought it was just a fake test. The bacteria captured her and began mocking her, as bacteria see RBCs as weak and helpless. Xiao Hong tried to fight back for the first time, but the bacteria only made her angrier. Then, a small white blood cell entered. This was the childhood version of White Bro, but he was very small and weak and couldn't fight the bacteria. Bai Ge and Xiao Hong became helpless in the face of the bacteria's attack. Bai Ge stood in front of the bacteria, trying to save Xiao Hong, but the bacteria succeeded in intimidating them. The bacteria caught Bai Ge and threatened him, saying that if he surrendered Xiao Hong, they would let him go. But Bai Ge, who was committed to his duty, refused. He said that the job of white blood cells is to protect other cells, even if it costs them their lives. The bacteria praised Bai Ge's courage, but still decided to kill him. Just then, two senior white blood cells arrived and saved Bai Ge and Xiao Hong. Both became emotional and cried. Xiao Hong, who had been scared, thanked Bai Ge and asked if they would meet again. Bai Ge said that if she grew up and worked in the blood vessels, they might meet again somewhere. Saying this, they left. The scene shifts to the present day, where Xiao Hong has become a mature red blood cell. She is confident in her work and begins her day. But then, an unexpected encounter happens. She meets Bai Ge again, who still helps her. The connection between the two is shown, which is very emotional. Bai Ge mentions the recent peace, but then a mutated cell attacks them. Bai Ge quickly handles it. Then, a killer T cell arrives, but before he can act, another cell, an NK cell, arrives and eliminates the mutated cell. The NK cell, which targets cancer cells and mutated cells, suspects that this mutated cell might have companions. She decides to take a guide cell to their base, confidently saying that she can handle the task alone. The NK cell and the guide cell arrive at the cell's residential area, but no normal cells are seen there. This is a big warning that mutated cells or cancer cells are present. Baige and the killer T cell also arrive and see abnormal cell growth in a mysterious warehouse. These cells are ignoring the normal growth process and dividing unlimitedly. The warehouse's walls and surrounding tissues are completely destroyed, and packed luggage indicates that these cells are planning to spread throughout the body. Then, the cancer cells attack, and Baige and the killer T cell fight them, but they become helpless in the face of the overwhelming numbers of cancer cells. The cancer cell shares its backstory. It was once a normal cell, but became a cancer cell due to a genetic mutation. It says that many cancer cells are created in the body every day, which are killed by immune cells. It just wants to live, but the immune cells kill it. This makes it emotional and aggressive. It says that it will spread through the blood vessels and lymph vessels and destroy the immune cells. Meanwhile, Xiao Hong, who is transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide, notices a strange activity. Red blood cells are being ordered to transport a lot of nutrients, which is unusual. She and her group try to understand the reason for this. As the cancer cell works on its plan, the immune cells confront it together. The NK cell and killer T cell forget their differences and fight together. The NK cell tries to eliminate the cancer cell with her signature move. She gains energy from laughing and completely destroys the cancer cell. It is shown that the NK cell activates her nerves through laughter, improving her performance. Meanwhile, the cancer cell, now almost defeated, expresses its desire to become a normal cell again. It says that it also wanted to live a simple life as part of the world, but this dream was shattered from birth, as its very existence was a mistake. It feels against its destiny, but for Baige and the immune cells, its existence is a threat to the body. Baige, who tries to understand the cancer cell's emotions, still prioritizes his duty. He decides to eliminate the cancer cell, as the body's safety is the most important. Xiao Hong, who witnesses the end of the cancer cell, becomes scared. She feels a bit emotional for the cancer cell, but also understands that the immune cells made the right decision to protect the body. She tells herself that the immune cells have always fought for the body and will always defeat threats like cancer. This scene shows that every cell in the body has its role, and the immune cells are always ready to handle any danger. If you enjoyed this anime, so subscribe to our small channel.